So one way to look at technical analysis is that the art of drawing lines that make sense until they don't. But when I'm considering an invalidation point plus some buffer, I know where I'm wrong. But with NQ or futures or even high delta stocks, the slaps can still happen. The sudden spike up or spike down and then still moving in the same direction that you
Potential
originally
downtrend.
wanted. But other than that, it can still give you a clear invalidation point, and of course you need to give some buffer. So overall, the technical analysis makes the risk management clearer, and that alone is a big advantage. And also technicals are visual. They help me see who is winning, bulls or bears, and I don't
Potential
have to guess.
downtrend.
I can read the candles, look at the price action, maybe spot a trend or a reversal, and that can help me build confidence to pull the trigger. So yeah, technical analysis has a lot going for it, but there are some disadvantages too. Nothing is perfect. There is no holy grail. Charts can be noisy. Sometimes patterns fail, and the fake outs happen, and I have seen plenty of technical traders blow up because they ignored the bigger picture. So always consider the bigger context. So there are fundamentals and there are news, economic data,
Downtrend.
unexpected headlines, all that can break a pattern in seconds. So my idea is that try not to get married to a chart or a particular bias, and treat it as one piece of the puzzle, not the entire puzzle. So I have seen how easy it is to overcomplicate technical analysis also. Way too many indicators, way too many lines, and they can freeze us if we try to consider too many signals and stuff. Once you get used to it, you can use what you are comfortable with. And I have been there. Price action gets buried under a mess of signals. I have found that simple is better. Sometimes you have to use the signals so that just to keep your bias in check, because sometimes it is easy to get stuck on one particular bias. So even when you are looking at the higher time frame context, but overall stick to key levels and clean patterns, right? So just avoid analysis paralysis basically. So of course another risk is the confirmation bias, and it can happen more often than you think. If I want to see a breakout, I can usually find something to justify it. Okay, I can see the MACD is building up, and I don't see a divergence, or I might see a divergence, or I might see a premature reversal. So whether it's really there or not. So technical traders fall into that all the time. So that's why I try to stay neutral. It does not mean I am free from these biases, but the goal is to read what is in front of me and not what I want to see. And one more downside is that sometimes technicals don't match the real world, right? Maybe a stock is breaking out perfectly, then news drops and the chart fails. There is nothing you can do about it. That is part of trading. So I try to stay humble. Sometimes it can be disappointing. So overall, technical analysis is a great for day trading and for swing trading, or for short term price action setups, but of course it's not bulletproof. So when I combine it with some context and any economic data, basically avoid the volatile periods and look for a clean setups and a good trends, so the picture becomes bit more clearer. So technical analysis is structured, visual, helps with risk management, identifies trends, helps time entries, but the disadvantages are that it can be noisy, there can be fake outs, it can complicate things, and it can also bring the confirmation bias, and it can get wrecked by breaking news. So that's just how it goes. So it's a tool, one tool, not the whole toolbox.
Uptrend.
So if I stay objective, and keep the chart clean and stick to price action and simple patterns, and then this analysis works pretty well. Along with a good risk management, let's see what the charts want to show us today.
Potential uptrend.
So we are here. This red line is the yesterday's high, and this blue is yesterday's low. And here we have the pre-market high and pre-market low. Um, so of course, this is in a clear uptrend in the higher time frame, but in the medium and short term, anything is possible, and we want to watch and observe at least first 15 to 30 minutes, and also take a look at any news events that are due today. There are no major news events. The natural gas report does not have much impact. Jobless
Uptrend.
claims already happened. Uh, so this is the Eastern time, and I am in the Central time. So let's see the impact of jobless claims today. So that was at 7:30. So it initially went up, found some liquidity, which also coincided with this fair value gap in the 5-minute chart. And again, so it bouncing between these two
Potential uptrend.
fair value gaps, which is this is the yesterday's 5 p.m. like today's session open, the Globex hours. So with that, when the market opens, yeah, I mean, I don't want to predict per se, but the likely scenarios are um, it can come back here, find support, and then go higher, or uh, considering there are no major news events, like, other than any tweets and things like that, uh, it should not make any aggressive move. But you know, as you very well know, anything can happen.
Uptrend.
So while we are waiting for the market to open, so we have about 6-7 minutes to go, and still I won't take any action immediately anyway. Let me take a quick look at yesterday's trades. Yesterday's live stream is still up, so which can be viewed at the YouTube. Then the other than that, let's see.
Potential uptrend.
So I'll be exporting today's results after some time, but uh, so this first trade, I'm not so
Uptrend.
proud of it. But when I looked back, um, so the setup that I was looking for, all the components of the setup were there, except I did not wait for the 5-minute confirmation. It did eventually work, but there was too much unrealized, negative uh, PNL at one point, which is the one thing I'm trying to avoid. But other than that, other trades worked out well. Um, then these two trades were in the Zoom room after YouTube stream ended. The setups for the failed trade here. Okay, we still have 5 minutes to open. Um, yeah, I think I talked about it in length in the yesterday's stream, but it was the context was something like, you see a manipulation candle, and then there is a reversal, but I saw the reversal, kind of reversal in the 1-minute chart, did not wait for the 5-minute chart.
and it kept going. At every point, it looked as if it's going to reverse, which kind of kept me. And then at that time, I had already increased the stop a little bit. That kicks in the sunk cost, which is another negative aspect. But overall, that's what happened. It eventually reversed. The setup that I was expecting to happen happened much later, because that's the thing with these manipulation candle. Um, they go against the trend, and it can keep going for a while.
Uptrend.
But the rest of the setups were mostly like the clean break of structure and liquidity, and in some cases just break of structure. So this is the federal so this will be at 9 a.m. I don't expect too much reaction to that news, but better to be cautious anyway.
Potential uptrend. Potential uptrend. Uptrend. Potential downtrend. Potential downtrend. Downtrend. Potential downtrend. Potential uptrend.
All right, we have a wide opening range and it's stabilizing and VWAP support is there. Yes, I'm tempted to go long. Only risk is it can break down and we have the pivot point down below.
Potential uptrend.
And I'm just testing the copier by placing some trades that should not be filled, but
Order submitted.
just making sure the copier is working okay.
Order canceled.
Downtrend.
So I have found many good trades before 9 also, but in the long run, what I realized was that I also got whipsawed. Uh, some of them are my own wrong
Potential
locations,
downtrend.
but uh, long run, what I found is after 9 gives more stable, more manageable trades. I mean, mistakes and the whipsaw can happen there too, but uh, the consistency improved or increased sticking to after 9. So now this is breaking down. Wait for the bar close, and actually it should break down with an impulsive move and then pull back or retrace and then continue. That's the range break and retest. So in the 1 minute at least, it has given a potential reversal signal here. So there is no impulsive breakdown. All right, so at the close of this bar, I will hit long on the close of the bar on the 1 minute chart. It's before 9 still. Unless this bar closes red, then no trade.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Yeah, this is not a solid entry. This is more like a, it can break down now with more force, which is what's happening right now. All right, so this is going to be a loser, most likely, giving just a bit more room below the pivot point, and we'll try to close it. Yeah, so again, what I got sucked into here is this doji,
Potential downtrend.
and then followed by a green candle above. So I thought that is confirmed. Okay, so this will stop out now, very likely. Unless this pivot point holds, I will be out of this with a major red to start the day, which is not good, but
Potential downtrend.
all right. So despite waiting and also despite observing everything that I wanted to observe, we did not respect the stops. And also, this is just a reminder to myself that waiting till 9 usually helps a lot. Or the other thing was, if it was going to be a reversal there, it should have reversed. I could have waited one more candle, but this is a breakdown and I'm waiting to close it to if it retraces back to the breakdown area. And also the pre-market low is nearby, and if it at least retraces there, I may be saved in the short term, but I think sticking to the long-term plan, I should avoid this early entries. So this what seems like a manipulation and reversal. I'm not sure how long it will sustain. So according to one analysis that I mentioned around 8:35, this when I was initially looking to go long, I had noticed this pivot point being below. So the problem is, even though this pivot point is holding for now, if there is a second leg of this down move, it will go further low and then hit the pre-market low. Okay, so I have on the 1 minute, I have the candle confirmation that it is holding there. But 1 minute is not that reliable in NQ anyway. It gives some setups, but it can easily whipsaw. There is no fair value gap or anything here.
Downtrend.
Alright, I should have at least closed it right there. Okay, so this is a very big slap. It even hit the pre-market low and not sure. So this is the second leg that I was talking about. So the first move down, second move down. So there is some likely chance of this is going to reverse, but on the flip side, if today is going to be a down day, it will eventually make to yesterday's daily low, and unless this acts as a manipulation and reversal, the chances are low. Okay, so we have a strong set of buyers stepping in here. If sellers overpower them, that will be in vain. All right, so the hindsight is 2020. What got me in here was this here, this doji, followed by a green candle on the 1 minute chart. And if I was taking the trade, I should let my stop be right here or at least near the pivot point and then enter a new trade later on. So in the moment, I was not willing to let go and holding on to this is not the trading plan. So doing outside the trading plan. So the planning is one thing, execution is the whole other matter. So buyers have stepped in, but I don't think they are winning at the moment, because if this is a reversal, in the 5 minutes is still holding, but there should be more, follow through. So far there are not enough follow throughs. All right. So more downtrend continues. And also 9 a.m. approaching. With that, unless there is a 9 a.m. reversal, this trade is
Downtrend.
completely gone.
Order filled.
All right, so I got out
Potential
on a
downtrend.
couple of accounts, and I'm ready to get out on everything. This may be right about where it's going to reverse, but I have to let the
Order cancelled.
account almost hit the daily loss limit. So this is a major setback for the day for me, for sure. Um, so the mistakes I did, order entry is still okay, with the potential breakdown possibility. Expectation was this doji and reversal, but uh, even if I give me a pass for the location, I should respect the stop, which is below this doji or at least near the pivot point. And then, even though taking the stop is, slightly disappointing, it is much, much more better than having this wide stop, which is basically, uh, where it stopped me out and then reversing. Just I was mentioning it. This was the very point.
Downtrend.
This was about reverse, but I was unsure. And that was my maximum hard stop. So at this point, going with my original plan, which is to wait till 9 or 9:10 and then look for the solid setups. That is the more viable plan for me. All right, what else did I miss? So
Potential downtrend.
yeah, once I took this order, I kept looking for only that direction, right? But I did not look at this break-off structure here and here. And then now, if the bias is shifting downward, so it should go higher to get the liquidity, and then continue downward, at least till it hits yesterday's low, or slightly above
Potential
there.
downtrend.
And also we have the 9 a.m. volatility, give it at least 5 minutes. So this is another example that no matter how much room I would have given, it could still stop out, even though it might reverse, it might not, because the next target is S1 and below, the pivot point S1, and daily low is even below there, almost another 90 points from here. Potential trades, now look for the liquidity on the supply zone. Let's mark if there are good break of structure and a supply zone. So I would take this as one of the supply zones, provided there are no strong reversal indications. So I need to go back to my 9 a.m. and after plan only, because no matter how tempting it is, if I cannot
Downtrend.
honor this stop. So at this point, you see it hit the pre-market low, and then also it gives this strong lower wick. So all these buyers are the trapped buyers also. But for me, what's viable is uh, coming back after 9 with a clear bias for the day. So at this point, this is yesterday's open. We are near the yesterday's.
Potential downtrend.
So I don't have any buffer to hold any counter trend trades, even if there is a strong wall. I mean the strong support. So for me, a good trade right now is with a solid confirmation. All right, so yesterday's open, the big number.
Downtrend.
So another idea I'm trying, not for right now, but in general is when I am tempted to act based on just the candle, if I wait at least for the liquidity, that will save me. So the setup in that case will be, so if this is going to be the reversal, it has to go there and then come back here to do the liquidity grab. And if that forms a double bottom and then goes higher, it can shoot further down also. But there is no guarantee that that liquidity grab will fail either, but it might give me the breather to respect the stop. So again, we have 1 minute doji here, potential reversal. So if I go long here, my stop still needs to be below this doji, which is more than I would like, but uh, testing out this proper liquidity idea, there should be a fair value gap now, and then try and long above the fair value gap. But the drawback on this particular trade going to be the daily low is still below. So if there is a temporary reversal here, provided we are at pivot point S1 here. So this would be an ideal location even uh, if I had avoided my earlier wrong location entry, this would be an ideal location to test out the long. Even though, the daily trend is down and all the signals are down. So even this, I ignored my own signals also that, yeah, that was the whole idea. That is the manipulation candle and reversal. And at that time, this 5 minutes was holding also. Well, that is that.
Potential uptrend.
Okay, so
Order submitted.
very likely I missed this one. That is perfectly fine. But if I had the buffer, I would have gone here immediately also. And that is my advantage of not entering before 9:10.
Potential uptrend.
I mean, whenever I take any premature trades, most of the time they happen before 9. So So on the 5 minute, we have the strong reversal. If I get a fill here, it is even in fact on the 1 minute, this has kind of already filled, so there is no actual fair value there. And worst case, it can come all the way
A potential uptrend.
to 22,915. And of course, it can retest the current daily low anyway. So from that point of view, not sure if this is the ideal location. This will require a little bit more stop. And we have the uptrend signal here. And usually the limit order at the level of the signal, but that requires a stop below the recent low.
Uptrend.
So unless this develops into a sideways trend, we have the this uptrend move is holding, and also it has touched this moving average line, which sometimes acts as the resistance. So clear breakout to the upside.
Uptrend.
So there may be some liquidity supply zone here potential, but it can break through that. So after 9 here, these were the ideal locations for me. And if you look at the past couple of days, any trade taken around this time, I've usually succeeded.
Potential uptrend.
So if this is the breakout structure, if I assume this, or at least in the hourly chart, around this is the breakout structure and the movement started
Uptrend.
from 2338 to 28, which is again here. So that should act as another supply zone. And if I want like a plus setup, looking for a very good location, I can try a short there, which is also supported by VWAP and pivot point. I mean, if they are the resistance. But another thing I've seen here is with the VWAP, if it shoots through and rejects this VWAP, this might go towards high of the day. But that is obviously I mean, it can bounce around a couple of times and nothing moves up straight or down. And after the fact, everything will be clear. But beforehand, I will be just it can be a few minutes late. So this supply zone, at least in the short term, it is working. There is some pullback. Let's look at the volume. Volume is slightly low compared to this. MACD has turned up.
Order filled.
Oh man, so how did that fill? Okay, so it filled in one account
Uptrend.
and it immediately coming back up. So
Order
I'm
filled.
flattening those accounts and
Order
canceling the
canceled.
rest. Okay, so I need to cancel
Order
these
order order
accounts.
order 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 canceled.
Okay, so the copier acted out and it worked in favor on maybe just a couple of accounts, but I had to correct it. So this supply zone, did work,
Potential downtrend.
and my standing order to go long that got filled. It got filled in few of the accounts, which is okay. So yeah, it got filled at exactly where I had placed it, 922. And when I closed it, I got a close at 939, which is about 17-point gain, but it did not fill rest of the accounts. And in fact, those were the micro accounts. So in the micro, MNQ actually bounced low and then they got filled, and which worked in favor, but only in micro. So if it had worked on the mini, then no complaints, but we don't have that much buffer there, so we have to give it some more time. Looking for A+ setups. So two scenarios here. If this is going to be the low of the day, this will be like a higher low, higher high, maybe one more higher low, little bit above. But then there will be the ultimate, liquidity sweep. Ignore this last segment there, but it should still be above this, and then it should continue from there. But at that point, it can break down also, but at least you'll get a good risk to reward, right?
Potential
Which
downtrend.
is unless it breaks down even before that. But so the idea here is if this is the low, it should form a higher low, higher high, etc. But if it's going to retest and break down further, can do that within a small stop. But looking at the momentum and everything, this is looking a little more like it's going to break down further and go towards the low of yesterday's low. So the key here is whether this current daily low will hold or not. And we are also approaching the initial balance low. I mean the initial balance in 5
Potential
minutes.
downtrend.
And so this will be the retest of that, and then it will shoot through. All right, I have no positions and no orders in place, and yes, more than likely it will be retesting here and going further low. So if I have the buffer, We could take a short here, but not the good location. So another idea here is one more liquidity grab, at least somewhere here in the short term. But if it, okay, let me refresh that. Since it has already grabbed the short term liquidity, next time, even though it can bounce here low and high, it can go all the way to this area.
Potential uptrend.
So what I need to look for here is breakout structure, pull back, and then go higher. Because if I go long here, if it's going to retest, that trade will fail. And if I go short here, if it is going to grab the liquidity again, that is, and if it's going to, break the structure and even go towards VWAP, that trade will fail as well. So on the 5-minute, we have a strong confirmation here.
Uptrend.
So I got stuck on a wrong side earlier. All right, what's my next step? So at this point, it can be bit slow ground from here, 9:30 to 10. There may be opportunities. And in the how much
Uptrend.
buffer do I have? I can take a trade or two, and depending on their result, I can either make up the earlier loss or call it a day. But I need to be very cautious on picking that location. And if only I had waited for that good location, either here. So I think one of the setups I need to eliminate from my list of setups that I look for is this uh, manipulation candle and potential reversal. I did I do not have much success with that setup, so and that basically gets me on the wrong side. And which is more reliable is this range break and retest, which will also somewhat coincide with um, liquidity grab, uh, or at the least wait for these signals. They usually are on the right side of the market, except during the sideways, which is what it is now. So if it does not break out of this resistance here, it should bounce below one more time. At that time, whether it can retest and go towards the low of the day, or whether it will consider this as the low of the day and then go higher is to be seen. Okay, so what else did I miss? So this 9 to 9.5, this range break, let me mark that. So this is 9 to 9.5, so we are in this range right now. So this is going to be, and then this range, this
Uptrend.
was rejected and it came here. So now we have this liquidity grab. So if there is a break of structure, then there will be one more liquidity grab. But if there is no break of structure, it can go lower. So let's consider this upper edge
Potential
of this.
uptrend.
So it should break with a impulsive move.
Potential uptrend.
All right, so I'm waiting for this bar to close and then based on that, I need to see whether it will be a break of structure or not. So even a simple breakout would have worked there.
Uptrend.
Okay, so if it is going to be a break of structure, I don't need to rush here. I will try to enter on the pullback. So looking at just the signals here, so I got the signal here. So this is the second leg. So if I place the limit order, stop still needs to be somewhere here, but it would have hit the target. So that is the another advantage of waiting till 9. And I could have taken these trades today and have a successful days. Okay, is it going to break out or break down?
Order submitted.
Okay, I need to get out of this. If it goes above, it is looking like it's going to break out. So that is another wrong entry. So today I'm on the wrong side of the equation all the way. So let me close this.
Order cancelled.
Uptrend.
All right, so despite knowing this potential breakout, no confirmation, nothing we had, everything is screaming reversal. I took that trade. With that, I will call it a day. So this hits my daily loss limit for the day. And I mean, I do have a room for one more trade, but I don't have enough buffer on that. So I need to rotate the accounts and see what I can do. Uh, So reason for this short here was whether this buffer will hold one more time or not. But now that it has broken out, this is this range break. So again, I was looking for this range bounce without considering this range break possibility. But since it has already bounced once, that is what I spoke about yesterday. But while executing, I'm missing a step here. So a couple of things that can go against me or go against anybody is usually my tendency here is that if I make the initial call mistake and then if I don't respect the stop there, I have less room to follow my plan in the rest of the places. But otherwise, if I skipped that, whether I took long or short, there are more room to correct those mistakes. And that is how I have majority of the days as positive, but um, today all the two trades I took are negative, but otherwise, so positive here. And also I had made couple of C1 here. I could recover that because I respected the stop. So these were good, except on July 1st, I made a similar mistake. I was stuck on the long there again, where the market was going lower. And another thing to note here is, so yeah, other than that, all other days are positive. All these days are positive. These are all positive. I had a different format there. So all positive days. Uh, so I think these were another format altogether too. So yeah, some of the same days. But overall positive days, except for whenever I avoid, this is my only mistake that I need to overcome, which is in each case, whenever I did the mistake, that is going against the trend. Majority of the successful trades have come in this way, except during the sideways. But in sideways, I can, keep the stop low. So and this is again, range break to the upside. This one with a different account. So now if this break is successful, it should keep going higher. If not, it will anyway, this short now I could close it with. So if this is the range break and retest, the retest should happen on a stronger green candle and then enter somewhere anywhere on the breakout there. But if that is the failure now, my earlier order would have worked out also, which I closed it right where it was coming back. But either way, that could be a tempting place to enter. So I will update this spreadsheet. This is a huge negative, another negative here. So today will be the max daily limit loss day. So we need to overcome this one tendency and I hope to build consistency after that. So I need to scrap that. Manipulation candle setup is still valid, except it is hard to see whether it is actually reversing or not. Instead, just focus on the daily limits, and it can still go towards the low of the day, or this might act as the short-term support in the interim. So considering this breakout is holding, I can
Order
buy
filled.
one there and wait for at least it to come till there. But this is more like a either it works or it does not work. So I'm just trying it in a one small set of accounts. So even here, if it it will make one more low to grab the liquidity. So the liquidity on this side is still at this location. So ideally, if it is going to go higher, above VWAP, above pivot point and everything, it might come here to grab liquidity one more time.
Uptrend. Potential uptrend. Uptrend.
All right, I need to see what happens from here. It will be a slow grind, whether I will recover at least partially or not. But once couple of mistakes and even the rule violations happen, that will get me out of balance, which is not good. So, I mean, there is no shame in taking a stop, but that's what I did not do at that time because trying to see
Up
the
potential uptrend.
support in any which way I could, and that is a recipe for disaster. So if I took the original stop, so I need to decide the stop first, and then if I stick with them, I can very well recover because there is, you know, enough room to handle the stops. But it's just the couple of bad habits that sometimes it work with a little bit more room, but each of them depends on its own logical step. I mean, the logical invalidation point. With that proviso, so we have kind of like a breakup structure and liquidity grab. Either the liquidity is somewhere here. So for that reason, this is not a very high probability trade. The potential here is that it should shoot through VWAP and go back to this higher liquidity area, and then it can come down one more time. So that is the idea anyway. But as of this moment, if unless it holds, retest this moving average and holds above, probability will go down significantly.
Potential downtrend.
All right, so this is not working out, and this was a small set of accounts, so I'm fine with this, but so be it. So this is still outside this 9 a.m. range. So it has not closed inside that range yet. So for that reason, you can just stay with it. And also the stop is at 9:53. So sometimes it can bounce at
Potential downtrend.
50, which is okay. So we have the downtrend signal, everything is there. So this 50, so I gave the room only because this 50 acts as a good bounce area. but with this doji and everything, it can continue down. And I should look for a better setup next time with this either this liquidity or this liquidity here. This range break, retest. And so this is the range break candle, retest. So there is a very small trade potential was there, but it was not enough to
Downtrend.
reach the target. Okay, so let me update today's trades, and then I will wrap up the YouTube stream. And I'm not sure if there will be any good recovery from here. So 2 trades, 2 losers. And everything went down with. So I'm not sure this one. This is a small set of accounts, so I'm not going to count it here, regardless whether it recovers or not. But for the day, this is a red day. Okay, so this is the mistake I did today. So, the imperfect entries and some poor management can still happen. I think the major carried away point here
Potential
was
uptrend.
when it has already retested the high, it rejected and coming down. And see this triangle formation also. So there were all signs of breakdown here. And I need to rewatch this to see how I ignored those things. Maybe I gave more weight to this candle here. So,
Potential uptrend.
so my other rule of waiting till 9 to trade is a solid one for me only because I don't um, value some of these things maybe, but um, regardless, respect the stops and I need to rewatch this to practice just that one point. Other than that, I can achieve more consistent days, and we will see that one day at a time. All right, have a good one, and we'll continue the Zoom room a bit more, but for YouTube. We'll see tomorrow. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.